I'm going to do something different this morning because sometimes I get ideas and I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. And then in my brain I go, why are you going to do an entertainment guy video? Because those don't perform very well. To which I answer, shut up, brain. And I fight with my brain for a while. 10 shows that I've lost interest in. Now, the thing is, I've got these 10 written down and I'm going to eliminate them in order. 10 shows that I lost interest in over the years. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 here. I'm going to mix two of them into one because sadly they're part of the same franchise. And it shouldn't be a franchise. That shouldn't be a thing. Really, honestly, shouldn't. So, number 10. And I know a lot of people are going to agree with me on this one. Glee. The first season that Glee came out, it was a cute little show. It was musical, so girls liked it. It had some decent acting in it, and occasional good looking girls, so guys liked it. And as the seasons wore on, it quickly lost everything. I remember when I lost interest was when they brought in the new class, which it's high school, right? So you have to bring in a new class, but none of them I thought added anything. I was like, wow, these are going to be main characters soon. Oh, and then the storylines just got really stupid. And the characters, again, as the show goes on, sometimes characters will go more and more overboard and more cartoonish, and it's bad when it's a high school show. Number 9. People are going to get mad at me for this one, but I don't really care. I could lie and say that I do, but I don't. Seinfeld. Seinfeld had 2 seasons where it was absolutely hilarious. Everything that came before or came after, I can't stand it. And now in reruns, I can't watch any of it. The only episode of Seinfeld I can still watch and laugh at is The Bet. That's it. Anything else that came before or after, I'm like, eh. And by the time the show ended, everybody was just so horrible to each other on the show. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to mention that again about another cast soon. But Seinfeld, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. For me. And I understand there's going to be people watching this going, I loved Seinfeld all the way through. Awesome. I'm very happy for you. That's fantastic. Number 8. Oh, stop. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Remember when they changed Aunt Viv? I do. And then the show went downhill. And I don't know that it was when Aunt Vivian changed that killed the show, but it really it changed so much. And I think what part of what took me out of it was that you have Will and you have Carlton, and Carlton's this nerd guy. Well, the actor playing him keeps getting more and more buff as the series goes along. So as Alfonso gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it becomes more and more ridiculous that he's just cowing down to Will and doing the nerdy dance to Tom Jones, when you can tell by looking at him that every time he's not on camera, he's lifting weights. So while the face stayed pretty much the same, he got buff, and they weren't even really trying that hard to hide it on the show, and it was like, I don't know that I buy that Will could push him around like that. And it just seemed so weird. Just imagine if Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory became buff, it would be like a total change to the character. Oh, wait, they already completely changed the character. I haven't got to that yet. But yeah, Fresh Prince, there were a lot of things that lost me. Hillary, they kept stupid for no reason. When, characters grow up, but we got to keep their quirks. And it gets awkward. Really, really awkward. Oh, honorable mention, Two Broke Girls, which couldn't keep me through a full season, despite the fact it had Kat Dennings on it, one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, who I thought was a good actress. Two Broke Girls proved me wrong. And now when I see she's in something, it no longer means that I have to watch it. It's like, all right, I'm not going to watch that. Number 7. I've talked about this before, and I know there are people who still think it's funny, but I think Family Guy has really lost it. And when I watch a new episode of Family Guy, there's at least 1 or 2 jokes per episode that's just offensive. And I don't have a problem with offensive comedy. South Park is not on the list because South Park is still hilarious, and some of their episodes are really offensive. But it can't just be offensive. And there are times where Family Guy will there'll be a joke on the show that I think, does Seth MacFarlane write this now trying to get canceled? He seems much more happy on the set of The Orville than he does with anything Family Guy related. So, is he just trying to get canceled? But he makes a lot of money on the Family Guy, so he can't actually just stop doing it. American Dad's not on the list because I never watched it. I could never handle it for more than a minute and a half. I thought it was just god-awful. And Cleveland Show? Not even... Oh, man. That was... Oh. Seth MacFarlane is really hit and miss. It's sort of like the movie Ted, which is really funny the first time you watch it. And then with repeated viewings, it's less funny. Basically, the first 5 minutes remains funny no matter what. Ted 2, not funny, in my opinion. It just wasn't. I think I watched the first 30 minutes of it and I just turned it off. I'm like, I don't know why this exists. This doesn't need to be here. Number 6. So I'm crossing them off as I go along. Number 6. I'm going in terms of shows that I really, really enjoyed. So if I really, really enjoyed a show and stopped watching it, it'll be higher on the list. So Glee was not a favorite show. That 70s show kind of was. And towards the end of its run, Dumbass went off to be Venom, which was a stupid move by both Venom and Dumbass. And he left the show, and it was the final death blow for the show. It was on its way down, though, before that. He kind of knew when to get out. So that it didn't matter how hot Donna and Jackie were, I was out. And that does seem to be a theme to shows a lot of the time. Especially when I was in my 20s, early 30s. It was like, all right, is there a really good-looking girl on this show? All right, I'll watch it. Is there not? Is it funny? So that would be the first concern, and then whether or not it was actually entertaining would be secondary, which is why some shows I'd watch 1 or 2 episodes and be like, yeah, I can't do this. I can't. I just can't. Although I think, I'm trying to think back now, there was a series that starred Pamela Anderson called Stacked, I think, where she worked in a library. And actually it was kind of funny. It was written by Christopher Lloyd, who played Doc Brown on Back to the Future. And, of course, he'd been Jim Ignatowski on Taxi. It's a darn funny show. But because it was called Stacked, and she's really large-chested, it made it sound like the kind of movie you'd see at 1 in the morning on one of those pay networks. And I think that hurt it. It was actually kind of a funny show. I think I need to do a video as well on 10 shows that were actually kind of funny you've probably never heard of. But anyways, yeah, that 70s show just lost me at one point. And again, as shows go on, they start having them do things that those characters wouldn't do. And when you're watching a show and you're like, okay, he totally would not ever do that. You realize you've got different writers or desperate writers. And that the actors either are unable to get that idea changed or they just don't care. They're like, yeah, I'm making my money. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to me. Got a video up on this channel of this, and it got posted somewhere. Because some of their fan base came in defending the show. And here's the thing. The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead are now both on the list of shows I had to watch every week. I couldn't miss. And they've both become, screw them. The Walking Dead, it started with killing Glenn. Nah, it didn't. It started with killing Andrea. That was the moment when the show started killing people just to kill them. I don't care if it's a zombie show, and I don't care about this whole, it has to feel archaic, like you don't know what's going to happen. Here's the problem. That's not how television really works. Movies, it's fine. TV, it really doesn't. You get attached to a character, they die. You get attached to a character, they die. At some point, you're like, man, I gotta find something else to watch because this is just stupid. You're just bringing in people so that they're gonna die in an episode or two. Like, for instance, how they'll kill almost everybody in a certain group, and then it's, hey, look, what's that over there? It's a group of 10 more people, Rick. Well, let's go over and talk to those 10 people. I don't know, that one guy looks like he might be an asshole. Probably is. Let's go over and talk to him. That one guy, he's an ass. Yep, we're going to be fighting with him for 23 episodes. Can't wait. Is that person scratching their neck? Might be infected. It's so maddening. And then the worst part is Fear the Walking Dead, which started out fantastic, gets taken over by the Walking Dead people. And the first thing they do is take the characters that I cared about in Fear the Walking Dead and kill them or push them down to the bottom of the show. Are you serious? You've got to be kidding me. I waited so long for that family to sort itself out, and then no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just we're going with characters that more suit the Walking Dead theme. And now when you watch Fear the Walking Dead, yeah, it's exactly the same as the Walking Dead. It's exactly the same show. There's absolutely no point in Fear the Walking Dead existing anymore. It is absolutely ridiculous that you're going to bring in a character from The Walking Dead over to Fear, a bit character with a stick, make him the main character of Fear the Walking Dead because he's pretty nifty with that stick, and because Walking Dead fans will say, oh, where did he go? Oh, he went over to Fear. Well, now I'll watch Fear, because I've always heard people say, well, I don't watch Fear. Fear sucks. Okay. It didn't. The biggest mistake I thought Fear made was that the outbreak of the zombie virus, they accelerated that towards Apocalypse. I really thought they could have drawn that out a little bit more and had more episodes set in the world before the apocalypse and the gradual turn to chaos. But they wanted to get to chaos really quickly. And yeah, between the two shows, I don't know which one I'm more frustrated with. Probably Fear, because Fear felt like this brand new clean slate, and now we'll just make it all the same. That'll fix it. I understand that may not have been doing very well in the ratings. Then cancel it. Just make a TV movie on what happens with this family and just cancel it. No, you got to make a franchise. It's all about the franchise. Stupid. Number 4. I'm really torn on which one of these I'm going to put up next, but I'm going to put up this one. I watched a video yesterday that inspired me to do this video, which talked about, it was actually Watch Mojo, where they talk about 10 deaths in a show that enraged you. For Dexter, they said that death was Rita. No. The reason I stopped watching Dexter wasn't that they killed Rita. It was that the Trinity season was so fantastic, and they followed it up with an evangelist preacher and weird crap. And then he wasn't putting people on the table for a while. And they got away from it. And then when they tried to go back to it, it was just awkward. And then they had the romance between him and his sister. But here's the funny thing. Everybody railed against the romance between Dexter and his sister. And yet, as vile as Dexter and Deb might have been to people, he kills everybody. He's a serial killer. If your rage against the show is that the serial killer who's put so many bodies in the harbor that it would be full of sharks for the next 20 years, if your rage against the show is, oh, but he's attracted to his not actual blood sister, but his paternal sister, that's disgusting. You have a problem. Anyways, I never understood that. I never understood the rage about Dexter and Deb. People going, oh, this keeps up, I'm going to stop watching. He ties people to a table and cuts them to pieces and then buries those pieces in the ocean. Where's the rage for that? Oh, but he's attracted to Deb. Here's the thing. Jennifer Carpenter, to look at her, you go, yeah, she's okay. And then she starts talking and she starts swearing and she shows some attitude and you're like, okay, kind of hot. And I could totally understand the dynamic between Dexter and Deb. And if anything, I was kind of ticked off that they didn't just push it. They didn't just go, you know what? Yep, we're going to do this. We're going to push through it. They backed right off, and then they brought in some stupid love interest for Dexter. I never bought it at all. I never bought the whole girlfriend thing. You know, he's got a new girlfriend. Oh, he's going to fly her off to Brazil or Venezuela or wherever the hell she went. Just stupid. And I would try watching every now and then, and I'd be like, this is dumb. Why is this happening? That's stupid. And I think part of what got me and made me stop watching the show again, it had nothing to do with Rita. It was that people would find out Dexter was a murderer. Magically, they'd end up dead. And it got to the point where it was ridiculous. And the only way I think this could have worked would have been that every time somebody went, Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, hit by a train immediately or run over by a truck immediately. And it wouldn't have mattered if they were in the middle of the office. A truck bursts through the walls, runs them over. Damnedest thing. Every time somebody says Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, they get run over by a truck. That might have saved the show. But it got ridiculous. Or somebody'd be after him like, I think Dexter's murdering a lot of people. Did you notice all that blood in his office? And then 2 episodes later, be like, hey, Dex, what's up? Hey, guy, what's happening? It's like, it's not how murder works. People don't just forget murder. It's not like borrowing a coffee cup in the lunchroom. Holy crap. And people will hold that against you, borrowing their coffee cup. Absolutely. To the point where you end up on a table and cut to pieces and thrown in the Bay Harbor. Number 3. But as long as he's not attracted to his paternal, not blood sister, that's where they draw the line. Ridiculous. Number 3. I want to talk about what went on forever. I've probably railed about this on this channel before, but I rail about it in real life a lot. Smallville. Smallville was fantastic. The best moment in Smallville was when Lana turned her back on Clark. She went to Lex while the whole city seems to be on fire, and Lex turns full evil. And you'd seen hints of it where he was taking these mutants and he was locking them up in his basement, and they had this really cool music while he's walking down the hallway. And Lex was, and you're like, yes, this is evil Lex. Then Michael Rosenbaum went, this show kind of sucks, and he left. That seems to be how it turned out. Because the show went so far downhill when they brought in a new character that nobody really cared about. And then at the very end, they're like, oh, she's Lex's sister. She isn't. You guys didn't know how to finish this. You had no idea. Smallville was killed by its no flights, no tights rule. That's what killed it. And it's weird because I understood at the beginning, like, okay, he doesn't fly and he doesn't wear the suit. Got it. But it got so ridiculous when he's pushing 30 and he's still not wearing the suit and he's still not flying. And when Supergirl shows up and she's like, hey, Kal-El, do you want to fly? And he's like, I'm scared. And I went, oh, no, you're not. You're Superman. If you jump 800 feet in the air and you fall straight down to the ground, you don't get hurt. You're Superman. Fly. Because once they brought in Kara, there was no reason he couldn't fly anymore, which I think was a big part of the reason why Kara didn't last on the show. Made it ridiculous. And I remember at the time going, oh, Laura Vandervoort, this is going to be great. And she's perfect for Supergirl. This is going to be awesome. And Lois Lane was perfect. All the casting on the show was great. And then there was this giant plot hole with Superman's afraid to fly. I could never get past it. Because when he was on Red Kryptonite, he flew. He flew when he was near Red Kryptonite and he turned all... But no. Clark's scared of flying. Well, screw Clark. Go ahead and call Kal-El over, because we need somebody that can fly. But he could jump really high. That means it was even stupider. I'm like, wait. So he jumps to the top of a mountain. He jumps here. Give me a break. Okay. I'm still raging. It's been decades since then, and I'm still not a happy camper about that whole storyline. Number 2. I talked about this before. I did a video on how this show wasn't funny anymore, and I have to be honest. Last season's Big Bang Theory, I've watched, I think, 3 episodes. I don't care. I really don't. I look at the topics of the episodes and I go, yeah, that's not funny. I think where the Big Bang Theory's biggest problem is, it's not just the fact it's not funny anymore. There's the mean-spirited characters that say horrible things to each other. I would love to watch the Big Bang Theory before they put in the laugh tracks. The laugh track is really awful, and it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse as the show goes along. We're almost to a full Happy Days laugh track. We're getting close. But if you take the laugh track out, it's not funny. Nothing they're saying is funny. And I think it's really important with a situation comedy that characters not act that way. They're asses. All of them. In the beginning, it was sort of Sheldon was an ass because he didn't know better. Okay. I can understand that. And I've known people like that socially, they're a disaster. Where you'll see them do something, you go, yeah, that's just how he is. Isn't that amazing? It's just kind of how he is. Sorry about that. I know what he said to you there wasn't very nice, but he's not a really nice guy. Now Sheldon's just actively mean. Amy Farrah Fowler as his wife now. She's sometimes mean to him. And they use really old recycled situation comedy tropes. You know the ones I'm talking about, like when you have a piece of information that you could give to your girlfriend that might make her upset, so you just don't tell her. So that the entire episode is about what you're not telling her. And at the end, she'll get all upset because you didn't tell her. Whereas in the beginning, if you just told her straight up, it probably wouldn't have been that big a deal. And they've taken a cast where in the beginning there were natural rivalries, there were natural situations where they wouldn't get along. Like Penny was a very cute girl who was also very not bright as a character. And so you'd get into these situations where she's around all these nerdy guys. There's a natural conflict there. Howard was creepy and lonely. Natural problem with Penny. Raj couldn't talk to girls. Natural conflict in a lot of situations. Sheldon, completely alien to all social norms. All kinds of conflict there as well. Over the years, all of that's changed. Howard now is a married man with a kid. Raj is kind of normalized. He's had a number of girlfriends. But now they managed to just make him creepy. Now he's gone from that sort of lovable loser to just kind of creepy. They've kept Stewart in the show way too much. Stewart is much better off as just a character that's in every 3 or 4 episodes. They go to the comic book store. He's running the comic book store. He has a couple of lines and he's out. As a main character, he doesn't work because there's no real depth to the character. But now they've given him a girlfriend too. Because everybody's got to get a girlfriend. And I think where they really cowered it out with Big Bang Theory was that the character of Sheldon was written as asexual. Jim Parsons, who plays the character, is gay in real life. The character Sheldon Cooper was asexual. He had absolutely no interest in girlfriend, boyfriend, none of it. He had no interest at all. They changed that. And I don't know if they changed it because they're like, well, he's got to get a girlfriend. Because maybe some studio exec said, give him a girlfriend. But it has fundamentally changed the character in a way that's taken away what made him unique. And for people who are asexual, and I know people who are asexual, that the interest just isn't there. It has to be hard to find people on TV that are asexual. Because almost every character on almost every show will have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And so to have a character that goes, I'm not really interested in any of that, must have been refreshing for a while. Now he's just the same as everybody else. And that's why they have to manufacture fights between people. And they're fights over something stupid. Or it's something you'll go, they fought about this 5 seasons ago. This is done. Stop it. So it's ending this year? Good, because I have no interest. I didn't even watch the episode where Amy and Sheldon got married. I really couldn't care. I watched, I think, like 5 minutes of that. And I'm like, this isn't funny. And that's the problem, too, is when you go from a show that's really funny, really engaging, or like with Smallville, you're really excited, and you go to, well, I might as well see how this show goes this week, because I've already watched 200 episodes of it, so. And number 1 on the list, and I hate putting these guys up here, Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki are 2 beautiful men. They are 2 beautiful men who I thought might make a mistake at some point with Supernatural. They became big stars off the series, and I was worried because at the time we were seeing characters or actors from shows like Dawson's Creek and Melrose and other shows. You would see an actor get a kind of a big name on the small screen, and they'd go, I'm going to try the big screen. The biggest example of this, of course, was back in the day with the NYPD Blue there, with the ginger dude. Ginger, I think he's ginger. Anyway, David Caruso. I'm going to go on my own. I'm going to go to Hollywood and make it big in movies. And then he made Jade and nobody cared. And I thought, at some points here, I thought it was going to happen to Sam and Dean. I thought, man, if they get off this gravy train, they're going to be fools. Now, if you go into any Spencer's, if you go into any Hot Topic, you will find tons of Supernatural stuff. This is why the show's still on TV. It sells a ton of merchandise. And I have a feeling that their DVDs of each season are very popular, and that streaming online it's very popular. The problem is this. The show ended after season 5. Season 5, they defeat Satan. Dean settles down with Lisa and his boy, and everything is how it's supposed to be. Lisa's son wasn't his biological son, but they bonded and everything was great, and Lisa was this great character, and I love her so much that I also watch a show called Private Eyes that has that actress in it. Also has Jason Priestley, who was in Beverly Hills 90210, which I almost put on the list, but I wasn't a big enough fan of 90210 to put it on the list. Towards the end, though, it was unwatchable. But Supernatural has become kind of a parody of itself. And they try these storylines, but they're just silly. It's like, okay, you've defeated Satan, now what? Now they're going to be these monster things that exist that are like wraiths, but they're not wraiths because we can't call them that. They're some other thing. And then, the darkness is coming. And you have to go through the darkness is coming without hearing Rick James in your head, right? Which is impossible. And Brother Darkness. And yeah. That's where Supernatural is now. It's kind of a parody of itself. I still love Jensen Ackles. I still love Jared Padalecki. There are certain actors and actresses that if I saw them in real life, I would be starstruck. They are two of those people. Absolutely. And I would think that, almost anybody from that cast, really, I would be kind of starstruck to meet them in real life. But I don't watch the show. I've tried. And when you watch it, you go, this is nice. Unlike some of the other shows on here, it's not that the writing's really bad. There was one season it was really bad. They had to get Sarah Gamble out of there. She took over the show, and oh God. But really, Supernatural hasn't been a bad show. It's just, it's done. It's kind of like it's done, it's been there. It's sort of like that comfortable place you go for lunch. You're like, I haven't been there for lunch in a long time. Let's go on in. And you go in, the food's still okay. Everything's still all right. You look around, the ambiance is still what you remember. But you're like, yeah, I'm kind of past this, though. I like that other place down the street better. And that's kind of where I'm at with Supernatural. Love the actors, love the storylines that existed, and I thought the show was great. But again, once they defeated Lucifer, and they tried bringing Lucifer back last year, and at first I thought, okay, this could be really good. And then I saw the storyline they were running, I was like, really? Oh, that's kind of... Oh God, no. So that's kind of where I gave up. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know this goes on eternally too long, but again, this is sort of like a therapy session for me to just air my grievances with certain shows that I loved so much and then I didn't. Let me know which shows you loved and then you didn't in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.